What are you doing here at this hour? Daniel Griffith's voice cracked through the silent Colorama kitchen like a gunshot, echoing off the marble and stainless steel. June Robison whipped around from the sink, eyes wide with pure panic, a soapy crystal wine glass slipping from her trembling fingers and shattering into 1,000 pieces on the hardwood floor. Water and shards exploded around her feet. She didn't even flinch at the glass cutting close to her bare ankles. Her breath came in short, ragged bursts, chest heaving under the oversized Howard hoodie soaked at the sleeves. Mr. Griffith? I can explain, she stammered, voice breaking, tears already flooding her brown eyes as she backed against the counter like a cornered animal. Daniel stood frozen in the doorway, the dim glow from the stove light carving harsh shadows across his stunned face. Because this wasn't a kid sneaking in to help her mom. This was an 18-year-old National Merit Scholar, hands cracked and bleeding, standing in his mansion at 2 a.m. surrounded by the wreckage of his fundraiser dinner, and the terror in her eyes told him whatever she was hiding was about to rip both their worlds apart. Before we continue, I want to speak to you for a moment. If stories like this remind you that kindness still exists, if they make you feel something real in a world that's getting louder and colder, then I'd love to have you here with us. This channel isn't just videos, it's a tiny corner of the internet where good people come together. Where we believe in second chances, in hope, and in humanity. And right now you're early. You're part of the very first people building this family with me. So if you want to grow with us, if you want more stories that touch your heart, go ahead and subscribe. It's free, it supports the channel more than you know. And it tells me that there are still people out there who believe in kindness just as much as I do. If you have subscribed to this channel, I can officially say welcome to the family. Washington, D.C., 2 a.m. The city outside is quiet, the monuments lit up like silent promises, but inside one of the grandest homes in Colorama, sleep is nowhere to be found. Daniel Griffith paces the wide upstairs hallway of his 12,000 square foot mansion, the one that sits just blocks from where ambassadors and senators plot the future of the country. The house is a fortress of old money and new tech, bulletproof glass disguised as historic panes, cameras that track every footstep, climate-controlled rooms that keep the art perfect and the air crisp. Staff know the rules. Never disturb Mr. Griffith after 10 p.m. unless the White House is calling. Lights dim automatically at midnight. Footsteps are forbidden on the upper floors. The whole place is designed to give a billionaire the one thing money usually can't buy: peace. Tonight, peace is losing. Daniel's day had been brutal. A morning briefing with the Senate Intelligence Committee about foreign hacks on the power grid. Lunch with venture capitalists pushing for another IPO. An evening fundraiser in his own ballroom. 40 of DC's most powerful people drinking $1,000 bourbon while lobbying him to testify against a rival tech giant. By the time the last guest left at 1 a.m., Daniel's head was pounding with encrypted threats, stock prices, and the kind of stress that no amount of money erases. He tried everything. The meditation app the First Lady swears by, the prescription the Georgetown psychiatrist wrote, even a finger of Pappy Van Winkle from the locked cabinet. Nothing worked. So he wanders, silk robe open over his t-shirt and pajama pants, barefoot on heated marble that costs more per square foot than most people's rent. That's when he hears it. A faint clink. Then a scrape. Coming from downstairs, the kitchen wing. His security app shows no alerts. No doors opened. No motion on the perimeter. But the sound is real. Rhythmic. Insistent. Like someone scrubbing metal against porcelain. Daniel freezes at the top of the grand staircase, listening. The house rules are ironclad. Cleaning staff finish by 8 p.m. sharp. Maya Robison, his housekeeper of 12 years, is the only one with late access after events. And even she texts his assistant Elias when she's done. Tonight, Elias had confirmed, kitchen crew signed out at 12:45 a.m. Maya left at 11:30 p.m. saying she felt under the weather. So who the hell is in his kitchen at 2 a.m.? He moves silently down the stairs, past the Rothko in the foyer, past the view of the glowing Washington Monument through floor-to-ceiling windows. The kitchen door is cracked open, a sliver of warm light spilling into the dark hall. He pushes it wider. And stops dead. There, under the soft gold glow of the pendant lights, stands a young black woman, 18 maybe 19, elbow deep in the massive farmhouse sink. She's wearing a faded Howard University hoodie, sleeves pushed up, dark curls pulled into a messy ponytail. Her brown skin shines with sweat. Her hands, raw, red, cracked, are attacking a cast iron skillet like it personally offended her. The counters around her are chaos. Crystal wine glasses stacked like towers, silver platters crusted with leftover filet mignon, plates from 40 elite guests who debated national security over dessert. She doesn't hear him at first. She's too focused, too desperate. Daniel clears his throat. The skillet slips from her grip, clanging loudly into the sink. She spins around, eyes wide, chest heaving. "What are you doing here at this hour?" The words come out sharper than he intended, echoing in the cavernous space. The girl backs up against the counter, suds dripping from her trembling fingers. Her eyes, beautiful, exhausted, terrified, lock onto his. "Mr. Griffith, I can explain." He steps fully into the light, recognition hitting. Maya's daughter, June. He's seen photos Maya proudly showed years ago. Honor roll, debate team, that kind of thing. But never in person. And never like this. "June Robison," he says, voice lower now but still edged with authority. "Your mother said she was sick tonight. So why are you here alone at 2 a.m., doing a full crew's worth of cleanup?" She swallows hard, wiping her hands on her hoodie, leaving wet streaks. "Mom, she wasn't feeling good. Stomach thing. She was worried about the mess from your event. I told her I'd handle it so she could rest. I have a key, I help sometimes on weekends." The lie lands flat. Too rehearsed. Too quick. Daniel's eyes flick to the sink. Enough work for 3 professional caterers, then to her hands. The skin is split at the knuckles. She's been at this for hours. He glances toward the service door. A worn backpack slumps against the wall. A National Merit Scholar lanyard dangles from the zipper. And sticking out of the side pocket, an old, faded photograph. A black man in a DC Fire Department uniform, helmet tucked under his arm, standing proud in front of a fire truck. Something cold twists in Daniel's stomach. He knows that face. He was 8 years old when that man carried his little sister out of a burning row house on 14th Street during the riots after Dr. King's death. Captain Leroy Robison. The man who saved his family. And now his granddaughter is standing in Daniel's kitchen at 2 a.m., bleeding into his sink, lying through her teeth to protect a secret he's only beginning to suspect. June grabs her backpack, backing toward the door. "I'll finish up and lock up. You won't even know I was here. Promise?" But Daniel doesn't answer. He's staring at the photo. And for the first time in years, the billionaire who can predict cyber threats across the globe realizes he's standing in front of a danger he never saw coming. One that started 57 years ago in smoke and flames, and has just walked back into his life wearing a Howard hoodie and carrying a debt he can never fully repay. The morning light over Washington, D.C. is crisp and unforgiving, the kind that makes the Capitol dome gleam like it's proud of itself. But inside Daniel Griffith's home office, the blinds are half drawn, and the air feels heavy. Daniel hasn't slept. Not really. A couple of restless hours on the leather couch, the image of June Robison's cracked hands and terrified eyes burned into his mind. By 7 a.m. he's at his desk, black coffee cooling untouched beside him. The faded photo from her backpack sits propped against his monitor. Captain Leroy Robison, helmet under one arm, staring back with the same quiet strength Daniel remembers from a scared 8-year-old's memory. He picks up his phone. "Elias," he says the moment his aide answers. "I need you in here. Now." Elias Vaughn has been with Daniel since the early days, back when the company was 10 people in a WeWork overlooking DuPont Circle. He's discreet, fast, and doesn't ask unnecessary questions. 20 minutes later, he's in the office, tablet in hand, eyebrow raised at the photo. "Morning, boss. You look like hell." "Feel like it too," Daniel mutters. Maya Robison. Housekeeper, 12 years. Start there. Sick days, performance, anything off the last few months. Elias nods, fingers already flying. "On it." Second, Daniel continues, tapping the photo, her daughter June. Senior at Eastern High. "I want everything, grades, attendance, awards, socials, the works. She was in my kitchen at 2 a.m. scrubbing dishes like her life depended on it. Said Maya was sick. I didn't buy it." Elias glances up. "You think she broke in?" "No. She had a key. But something's wrong. Bad wrong." By noon, Elias is back with a thin folder and a grim expression. Daniel leans forward. "Talk." "Maya first," Elias begins, sliding a printout across the desk. "She's been spotty since late summer. 8 sick days in the last 10 weeks. No doctor's notes. I was actually drafting a compassionate termination letter, standard procedure when reliability drops. Daniel's jaw tightens. Hold that. Indefinitely. Already did. Elias flips a page. Now June Robison. Boss, this kid's a unicorn. He lays out the highlights like evidence in a briefing room. Eastern High School valedictorian, class of 2025. 4.35 weighted GPA. National Merit Finalist. Full-ride legacy scholarship to Howard University. Pre-law track, focus on civil rights and public interest law. Winner of the D.C. Bar Association's Thurgood Marshall Essay Contest 2 years running. Captain of the mock trial team that just took state championships in November. Daniel stares at the school photo. June in a crisp blazer, smiling confidently, holding a plaque that reads, Outstanding Senior Advocate. Then Elias drops the bomb. She stopped showing up 5 weeks ago. Completely. Mark Truant. Principal's office has been calling Maya. Phones disconnected. Scholarship required final enrollment confirmation and senior transcript by December 1st. Deadline missed. Howard's holding the spot for now out of sympathy, but without graduation it's gone. Daniel exhales slowly. A kid like this ghosts her senior year? Throws away Howard? Why? That's the question, Elias says quietly. And there's more. I pulled Maya's insurance claims through our provider portal, HR Perk. Claims spiked 3 months ago. Oncology consults. Biopsies. Then, targeted therapy prescriptions. Expensive ones. Daniel's blood runs cold. Stage 3 breast cancer, Elias confirms. Aggressive. The good news is it's treatable. The bad news? The cutting-edge drug, Herceptin combo, isn't fully covered. Insurance calls it investigational. Out of pocket, $1,200 a month. Just for the meds. Not counting infusions, scans, everything else. Daniel stands walking to the window. From here he can see the top of the Washington Monument piercing the sky. A city built on power and promises, where one missed payment can mean the difference between life and death. Maya's second job? He asks without turning. Lost it. Part-time cashier at a cafe near the Capitol. Too many no-shows. So this job, my job, is their only lifeline. Health benefits. Steady pay. Elias nods. And June's been clocking in for her mom on days Maya can't make it. Forging sign-in logs. Covering shifts unpaid. That's why she was here last night. Daniel closes his eyes. The puzzle pieces snap together, sharp and painful. He turns back. Where is she right now? Elias checks his tablet. Night shift. Giant food on H Street in E. Started at 10 p.m. ends at 6 a.m. Daniel grabs his keys. Drive. The giant food on H Street is a beacon in the late-night gloom. Bright fluorescent lights, holiday music piping through the parking lot, shoppers grabbing late-night snacks or early morning milk. Daniel parks his understated black Tesla in the shadows, Elias beside him. Inside, the store smells like floor cleaner and fresh bakery bread. Daniel pulls a baseball cap low, ridiculous attempt at anonymity, but it'll do. They spot her in aisle 7, canned goods. June's in a red giant polo one size too big, hair in a tight bun under the required cap. She's stocking shelves with mechanical precision, lifting heavy cases of soup, arranging labels forward, ignoring the ache in her back. A customer barks at her for blocking the beans. She apologizes quietly, moves faster. Daniel watches from the end cap, chest tight. She's exhausted, moving like someone twice her age. Then her brake bell rings. She clocks out at the register, heads to the employee door in the back. Daniel follows at a distance. Outside the break room, June leans against the cinder block wall in the dim hallway, phone pressed to her ear. Her voice is low, pleading. Please, Dr. Patel. I know I'm behind. I'm only short $400 this month. I just need one more week. I've been working doubles and the plasma center pays tomorrow. Pause. Her shoulders slump. I understand the policy, but my mom's next infusion is Friday. If we miss this dose, please. Another pause. Longer. Tears slip down her cheeks, but her voice stays steady. Yes, ma'am. I'll figure it out. Thank you. She hangs up, presses her forehead to the wall, and lets out a silent sob that shakes her whole body. Daniel steps back into the shadows, heart pounding. Elias whispers, Plasma Center? Daniel's already pulling up his phone. Quick search. CSL Plasma on Benning Road. Pays $50 to $100 per donation. Maximum twice a week. June's been selling her blood to keep her mother alive. And the insurance denial? He digs deeper later. Turns out Maya's plan hit a lifetime cap glitch during open enrollment, buried in fine print from DC's Medicaid expansion mess. A bureaucratic nightmare that happens to too many families across the river. Daniel stands there in the fluorescent hum of the stockroom hallway, watching an 18-year-old girl wipe her face, straighten her uniform and walk back in to finish her shift. He built systems to protect nations from invisible threats. But he never saw this one coming. And now that he has, there's no firewall strong enough to keep him from doing something about it. Anacostia, late afternoon. The December sun hangs low over the Anacostia River, turning the water into dull steel. Daniel Griffith guides his Tesla through streets lined with row houses, some freshly renovated, others still wearing the scars of decades past. He parks in front of a tired brick apartment building on Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue, the kind of place where satellite dishes cling to balconies and kids' bikes lean against chain-link fences. He's never been east of the river like this. Not in years. Not since he was a kid himself. Elias tried to talk him out of coming alone. At least let me call ahead, boss. Or bring security. Daniel shut that down fast. This isn't a boardroom negotiation. This is personal. He climbs 3 flights of outdoor stairs, the concrete cold even through his coat. Apartment 4C. The door is faded green, a small Christmas wreath hanging crookedly, plastic holly and a single string of battery lights that flicker weakly. He knocks. Shuffling inside. Pause. Then the chain rattles and the door opens just wide enough for one wary eye. Maya Robison looks like a ghost of the woman who's kept his mansion spotless for 12 years. Her head is wrapped in a colorful scarf, face gaunt from chemo weight loss, eyes sunken but still sharp. She's in an oversized cardigan and slippers, leaning on the doorframe for support. Mr. Griffith? Her voice is hoarse, laced with shock and something close to fear. What? How did you? I know about the cancer, Maya. He keeps his tone gentle but firm. And I know about June. The color drains from what little was left in her face. She steps back, pulling the door wider, not an invitation, more like surrender. The apartment is small, clean, and proud. Spotless floors even now, a tiny Christmas tree on a side table with a handful of ornaments that look handmade. The air smells faintly of peppermint tea and the sharp tang of rubbing alcohol. Medical bills are stacked neatly on the kitchen counter next to a pill organizer the size of a lunchbox. Maya sinks onto the worn couch, gesturing weakly to the armchair across from her. Daniel sits, the chair creaking under him. I was going to tell you, she starts, voice cracking. I swear I was. Just needed a few more weeks to get back on my feet. Maya. He cuts her off softly. Stage 3. 3 months of hiding it. June working herself half to death. Why didn't you come to me? She looks down at her hands, thin, trembling. And say what? Please don't fire me, but I can't work anymore. This job is everything. The insurance. The paycheck. We don't have anything else. Daniel leans forward. You've been with me 12 years. You're not staff. You're. He stops, searching for the right word. Your family. Maya lets out a bitter laugh that turns into a cough. Family doesn't take charity, Mr. Griffith. I raised June to stand on her own 2 feet. I came up in Southeast DC when it was rough. Really rough. Single mom, no handouts. We handle our own. The pride in her voice is fierce even now. The door opens behind them with the scrape of a key. June steps in, still in her giant food polo, hair escaping her bun, dark circles under her eyes like bruises. She freezes when she sees Daniel, grocery bags slipping from her arm, milk, eggs, generic cereal spilling across the floor. Her voice is exhausted steel. What are you doing here? June? Maya starts. No, June's eyes flash as she drops to pick up the groceries. You followed me home? After everything I've done to keep this quiet? Daniel stands. I came because I know. The cancer. The plasma donations. The nights you've spent in my kitchen so your mom wouldn't lose her job. I know it all. June straightens slowly, arms full, tears already threatening. Then you know we don't need pity from some rich guy who doesn't even know our names until it's convenient. June? Maya scolds weakly. But June's not done. She steps closer, voice shaking with months of rage and fear. You think you can swoop in with your money and fix us? We've been fighting this alone because that's what we do. My mom doesn't take handouts. And I'm not gonna let her start now just because you feel guilty. Daniel doesn't back down. This isn't pity. And it's not guilt. It's right. He turns to Maya. You're getting treatment at MedStar Washington Hospital Center. Best oncology team in the city. I've already spoken to Dr. Patel. All costs covered. No more skipped doses. Maya's mouth opens but no sound comes. He looks at June. And you're going back to school. Transcript fixed. Scholarship reinstated. Howard's waiting. June laughs, a broken sound. You can't just snap your fingers and undo truancy. Or make deadlines disappear. I already did, Daniel says quietly. People owe me favors. A lot of them. The room goes silent except for the hum of the old refrigerator. Maya finally speaks, voice barely above a whisper. Why? Why would you do all this for us? Daniel hesitates. Then he reaches into his coat pocket and pulls out his phone, shows them the photo he took of the picture in June's backpack last night. Captain Leroy Robinson in full dress uniform. Maya's breath catches. My daddy. I was 8 years old, Daniel says, voice low. April 1968. Our row house on 14th Street caught fire, arson during the riots. Smoke everywhere. My little sister Emily was trapped upstairs. I remember a firefighter bursting through the door, helmet light cutting through the black. He carried her out. Carried me out after. June's arms go slack. The cereal box drops again. Maya stands slowly, walks to a small drawer in the side table, and pulls out a yellowed envelope bundle tied with ribbon. She hands one to Daniel with shaking fingers. He opens it carefully. Inside, a letter in neat handwriting, dated May 1968. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Griffith, I wanted you to know your children are safe because a lot of good people worked together that night. Your little girl Emily was brave as can be. Held my hand the whole way down the ladder. Your boy Daniel kept calling for his sister. Never cried once. They're both heroes in my book. I'll be checking in to make sure the family's settling okay. This city's hurting but we look out for each other. Always have. Respectfully, Captain Leroy Robinson. Engine 4 DC Fire Department. Daniel's throat closes. He remembers none of this, only the smoke and the strong arms carrying him to safety. Maya's voice is soft now. Daddy wrote letters to every family he pulled out that week. Never wanted credit. Just wanted them to know they weren't alone. She pulls out another document, an old newspaper clipping. Years later the smoke got him. Lungs never recovered. Died slow on disability. But before he passed, he fought for the riot victims. Pushed the city council for better insurance settlements, medical funds. A lot of families got payouts because of him. Daniel stares at the clipping, then at her. One of those payouts went to my parents, he says slowly. Help them rebuild. Buy a better house in a safer neighborhood. Send me to private school. Paid for my first computer classes. He looks up, eyes meeting Maya's. That money seeded everything I have today. My company. My life. All of it started with your father's fight. June sinks onto the couch beside her mother, stunned silent. Maya's tears fall freely now. He used to say the real fire wasn't in the buildings. It was in letting people burn alone. Daniel puts the letter down carefully. I've spent my life building walls, cybersecurity, literal walls around my house, to keep threats out. But the biggest threat was inside my own home, happening to people I should have seen. He looks at them both. Your father saved my family in 1968. He kept saving us long after, without us even knowing. Now it's my turn. Maya reaches out, touches his hand lightly. We're not charity, Mr. Griffith. No, he says firmly. You're not. You're the reason I'm here at all. Outside, the sun dips lower, painting the river gold. Inside apartment 4C, 3 people from opposite sides of the city sit in silence. Not fixed yet, not whole, but no longer fighting the battle alone. 2 weeks later, the holidays are in full swing across DC. Lights twinkling on Pennsylvania Avenue, tourists snapping selfies at the national Christmas tree. But for Daniel Griffith, the season feels anything but festive. He's been moving fast, quietly, ruthlessly efficient. First call, Johns Hopkins Kimmel Cancer Center in Baltimore, just over the DC line, world-class oncology. He knows the chief of breast oncology from a fundraiser gala last year. One conversation, one wire transfer from his personal foundation, and Maya's entire treatment protocol is covered. No more denials. No more $1,200 monthly gaps. Infusion scheduled. Clinical trial access opened. Transportation arranged. Second call, Howard University's Office of Admissions. Daniel's company has endowed scholarships there for years. Cybersecurity pipelines for underrepresented students. A quick chat with the provost, another favor owed, and June's file is pulled. Truancy explained as family medical emergency. Final exams to be taken remotely under proctor. Scholarship reinstated. Spring semester spot secured. Maya fights it at first over the phone, tears, pride, we can't accept this. Daniel's response is simple, it's already done. You're going. June is the wild card. He finds her at Giant Food on H Street again, this time during a busy evening rush. The store is packed with last-minute shoppers grabbing eggnog and ham. June's on register 5, scanning items with mechanical speed, forcing smiles for customers who barely look at her. Daniel watches from the customer service line. A man in a cheap suit, store manager, name tag reading Ron, barks at her from the side. Robison, you're falling behind again. Move it or I'm docking your brake. June's jaw tightens but she says nothing, scanning faster. Then it happens. An older customer complains loudly about a coupon not working. Ron storms over, snatches the scanner from June's hand. You kids can't do anything right. Do I have to do everything myself? He shoves past her, hard enough that she stumbles into the bagging area. Something in Daniel snaps. He steps out of line, walks straight to the register. Excuse me, he says calmly to Ron. That's enough. Ron turns, annoyed. Sir, this is a customer service issue. Please wait your... Daniel cuts him off, voice low and ice cold, the same tone he uses when firing a C-suite exec. No. You're done here. Ron blinks. Who the hell do you think you are? Daniel pulls out his phone, taps once. A text to his acquisitions team sent hours ago confirms. A shell company he controls just purchased a controlling stake in the regional Giant franchise group. Paperwork finalized that morning. I'm the new majority owner of this chain, Daniel says quietly. And you're fired. Security will escort you out. The store goes quiet. Customers stare. Ron's face cycles from red to white. June looks up, eyes wide. Mr. Griffith, what are you? Daniel turns to her. Your shift ends now. Permanently. You're not coming back here. She rips off her name tag, throws it on the conveyor belt. You don't get to decide that for me. She storms out the automatic doors into the cold night air. Daniel follows. In the parking lot under the buzzing lights, June whirls on him. You think this makes you a hero? Her voice is raw, furious. Buying the store? Firing my boss? Paying for everything like we're some charity project. This isn't charity, Daniel says. Then what is it? She shouts. White savior complex. Rich guy from Colorama feels bad for the poor black girl from Anacostia, so he throws money at us to feel better? The words hit like a slap. Daniel doesn't flinch, but they land deep. I get it, he says quietly. The divide. The way this city works. One side monuments and power, the other side food deserts and broken systems. I've lived one side my whole life. I know I can't understand yours. But this isn't about guilt. June laughs bitterly, tears freezing on her cheeks. Then what? Why are you doing this? Because I owe you, he says. Both of you. She shakes her head. You don't owe us anything. Come to the house tonight, he says. Both of you. 7 p.m. I'll explain. She stares at him for a long moment, anger warring with exhaustion. Then she nods once. Sure. Fine. But if this is some speech about how grateful we should be, I'm walking out. 7 p.m. Colorama Mansion. Maya arrives first, wrapped in a new winter coat Daniel had delivered anonymously. She looks better already, chemo paused for a stronger protocol, color returning to her face. June comes last, arms crossed, still in her giant polo-like armor. They sit in the library, warm fire crackling, books lining the walls. Daniel pours tea. No staff tonight. Just them. He starts with the story he's never told anyone fully. The 1968 riots. The fire. Captain Leroy Robison carrying his sister out. The letters. The insurance settlement that changed his family's trajectory. Maya nods quietly, she's heard pieces from her father. Then Daniel tells them something new. In the 70s, after we moved to a better neighborhood, I got into computers early. There was this community center program in Northwest. Free classes for kids interested in tech. Basic programming on Apple IIs. Someone sponsored it anonymously. Paid for the machines, the teachers, everything. He looks at June. I was one of those kids. Spent every Saturday there. That program, it's why I built my first real program. Why I got into MIT. Why I started my company. June frowns. Okay, but what does that have to? Daniel pulls a small leather-bound journal from the shelf. Old one. He hands it to her. June opens it carefully. The handwriting is strong, familiar, her grandfather's. Entries from 1978 to 1982. One page, dated 1979. Asterisk saw the Griffith boy again today. Daniel. Sharp as a tack. Figured out loops faster than kids twice his age. Quiet but hungry to learn. Reminds me of the men I served with, focused under pressure. Sponsored another year of the program through the church fund. No need for thanks. Just paying it forward. True heroes build bridges in silence. Asterisk. Another entry, 1981. Asterisk Daniel won the science fair with that encryption project. Proud as if he were my own. Told him to keep going. Never mentioned the funding. Let him think he earned it all himself. That's the best gift, believing in your own wings. Asterisk. June's hands shake as she reads. She looks up, eyes wide. He knew who you were? The whole time. Daniel nods. He mentored me. Quietly. Never took credit. Never asked for anything. He watched me succeed and stayed in the shadows. Maya's hand covers her mouth, tears spilling. Daniel's voice is thick. Everything I have, my company, this house, the ability to help you now, it didn't start with me. It started with him. With your father. Your grandfather. He looks at June. I thought I was self-made. But I wasn't. I was lifted. By a man who believed in building bridges, in silence. June closes the journal slowly. The anger in her eyes softens, not gone but shifted, into something deeper. Understanding. This isn't charity, Daniel says again, quieter. It's repayment. Long overdue. To a man who saved my family twice. Once from fire, once from staying small. Maya reaches across, takes Daniel's hand. June doesn't speak yet. But for the first time she doesn't pull away. Outside, snow begins to fall softly over D.C., covering the monuments, the mansions, the row houses across the river. Covering the divides just for a moment. Inside the library, 3 people sit by the fire. Not fixed. Not equal. But connected. By a debt that finally has a name. And a bridge built in silence no more. Spring 2025 arrives in Washington, D.C. like a long overdue exhale. Cherry blossoms explode along the tidal basin. Tourists flood the mall, and the city sheds its winter gray for pink and green hope. For the Robison women, the change feels miraculous. Maya's scans come back clean in March, remission. The words from Dr. Patel at Johns Hopkins still ring in her ears. The cancer is gone. She gains weight, her hair grows back thick and silver-streaked. Her laugh returns full and unafraid. She walks without the shadow of exhaustion for the first time in years. June finishes her senior year strong. Remote exams crushed, credits recovered, valedictorian title reclaimed. The day Howard University sends the official acceptance letter, spring semester start guaranteed, she cries in the new apartment Daniel quietly helped them move into. A bright 2-bedroom in Northeast with windows that actually open and a balcony overlooking a community garden. Graduation day at Eastern High is hot and humid. The football field packed with folding chairs under a cloudless June sky. Families fan themselves with programs. June steps to the podium in her navy cap and gown, gold valedictorian cord and Howard stole draped around her neck. She looks out at the crowd and finds them immediately. Maya in the front row, healthy and glowing in a sundress, eyes already shining. Beside her, Daniel Griffith. Simple linen shirt, no tie, looking more like proud family than billionaire benefactor. June unfolds her speech, glances at the prepared words, then sets it aside. I was supposed to talk about the future today, she begins, voice steady and clear over the speakers. About dreams and hard work and what comes next. But the truth is, I almost didn't have a future to talk about. A murmur ripples through the audience. I almost lost everything this year, not to laziness or bad choices, but to a system that makes survival feel like a full-time job. To medical bills that could bankrupt a family in one diagnosis. To pride that keeps good people silent when they need help most. She pauses, eyes sweeping the crowd, classmates, teachers, parents who know versions of this story all too well. But I learned something bigger. History isn't just what's in textbooks. It's the quiet choices people make when no one's watching. It's a firefighter running into flames in 1968 to save strangers. It's a mother hiding her pain so her daughter can chase a dream. It's a man who finally sees the debt he's carried for decades, and chooses to repay it forward. Her gaze locks on Daniel and Maya. Captain Leroy Robinson, my grandfather, used to say real heroes build bridges in silence. He built one that spanned fires, riots, generations, and even race in a city that's always struggled to heal itself. That bridge carried me here today. She smiles, tears shining but voice strong. So class of 2025, go to college, go to trade school, go change the world. But don't just chase success. Chase kindness. Look for the hidden battles people are fighting. Be the bridge. The applause starts slow, then swells into a standing ovation. Phones rise to record. By nightfall, clips of the speech are all over social media, #hidden heroes trending in DC then nationally. News outlets pick it up. DC valedictorian's viral speech on intergenerational kindness and inequality. June heads to Howard in August, pre-law, determined to fight the systems that nearly broke her family. Daniel, meanwhile, quietly endows the Captain Leroy Robinson Cancer Support Fund, $25 million initial commitment, focused on underserved Black communities in DC and nationwide. Navigation help, treatment costs, transportation, childcare during chemo. Real barriers, real solutions. He hires Maya as founding director. Salary generous, office in a restored building on U Street. She accepts, not as charity but as purpose. Her first act, renaming the community center tech lab where Leroy once mentored kids, including a young Daniel, in his honor. The dedication ceremony is small, intentional. Just family. Late September, golden hour on U Street, the historic heart of Black DC, where the 1968 riots burned hottest. They gather at the small memorial plaque for the uprising. A simple bronze marker listing names of the fallen, including firefighters and first responders. Maya, June, home for the weekend from Howard, and Daniel stand together. Maya places flowers at the base. June reads the names aloud. Daniel pulls an envelope from his jacket. Old, yellowed, postmarked 1985. Sealed until now. Maya's eyes widen. That's Daddy's handwriting. June takes it carefully, opens it. Inside, a single sheet addressed to Daniel Griffith, the sharp kid with the big ideas. Son. Asterisk, if you're reading this, I'm gone and you've done something with that brain of yours. I watched you from afar, saw the spark turn into fire. Proud doesn't cover it. Asterisk. Asterisk, I never told you who funded those classes because real help doesn't need a name on it. But blood remembers. This city's roots run deeper than people think. Families crossed paths long before the riots, in ways records don't always show. Asterisk. Asterisk, one day you'll meet someone who needs lifting the way you once did. Pay it forward. Not for thanks. For the next generation. Asterisk. Asterisk, we're all connected, boy. Even when the world tries to say we're not. Asterisk. Keep building. Captain Leroy Robinson. June's voice catches on the last line. She looks up, eyes wet. There's a P.S. Asterisk P.S. Tell my granddaughter, when she comes along, that her grandpa Leroy loves her already. And that curiosity runs in the family, on both sides. Asterisk. Daniel frowns. Both sides. June pulls out her phone, opens the Ancestry app she'd messed with last year for a school project. I never told you the full results, she says quietly. There was a distant match, 4th or 5th cousin range. Griffith surname cluster, old DC line. Traced back to pre-Civil War migrations. The algorithm said possible shared ancestor through interconnected families in the district. Maya gasps softly. Daniel stares at the plaque, then at them. DC's history, enslavement, free Black communities, migrations, marriages across lines that records erased or hid, suddenly feels alive in the blood between them. Not metaphor. Literal kin. Distant. Complicated. Real. June slips her hand into Daniel's. Maya takes the other. They stand there as the sun sets over U Street. 3 people bound by fire, silence, kindness, and now something deeper than any of them expected. America's story, messy and unfinished, written in their intertwined hands. The debt isn't just repaid. It's become family. And in a city of monuments to the famous, the quietest heroes finally have their memorial. A bridge built across generations strong enough to carry them all forward. What will you rate this story from 0 to 10? And what part of the world are you watching from? Comment your country below. Let's build a global community rooted in kindness and second chances. If this story moved you, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. Your support brings us closer to our 1K subscriber milestone and inspires us to keep creating more emotional stories of resilience, healing, and Black excellence. Thank you for being part of our journey. Your presence matters more than you know. Hope to see you again.